Magandang araw po. Ang pagbubulay-bulayan po natin ngayon ay ang ikatlong wika ng Panginoong Hesus nung siya ay nakapako sa krus. Sabi po sa talatang 1, 11, 25 at 27, nakatayo malapit sa krus ni Hesus ang kanyang ina, ang kapatid ng kanyang ina, si Maria na asawa ni Cleopas at si Maria na taga Magdala. Nang makita ni Jesus ang kanyang ina na nakatayo roon, katabi ng minamahal niyang tagasunod, sinabi niya, "Babae, ituring mo siyang anak." At sinabi niya sa tagasunod naman niya, "Ituring mo siyang ina." Mula noon, tumira na ang ina ni Jesus sa tahanan ng tagasunod nito. Noong araw na yon ay maraming nakasaksi sa pagkakapako ni Jesus. Yung iba marahil katulad ng mga punong pari at ng mga tagapagturo ng kautusan na nagkutya pa sa kanya at sinabing iniligtas niya ang iba ngunit hindi mailigtas ang sarili. In today's reading, we read of another group of people standing near the cross. We will look at three of them and understand what it means to them to be near the cross. Ang una po ay si Maria na taga Magdala, better known as Mary Magdalene. Una po natin siyang nakilala sa Luke 8 verse 2, ang babaeng sinaliban ng 7 demonyo at lahat iyon ay pinalayas ni Jesus. She was living in pain, living in bondage. Satan was at work in her life, seeking to destroy her life. Mary was sick and living a hopeless and helpless state. Siguro po kung ikaw si Mary Magdalene, ang nasa isip mo ay, ang tagal na ng panahon na nasa ganito ako ng ganitong kalagayan. Ang pakiramdam mo ay walang makakatulong sa iyo. Walang gamot, walang doktor, kahit ang mga matataas na pari ay di siyang matulungan. Imagine niyo po naman, 7 demons. Papaano mo lalabanan yon? Ito yung sitwasyon na napaka-hopeless mo na. Talagang wala ka nang magagawa. But Jesus came into her life and changed her life completely. She was delivered from the demons, not only from the bondage, but also from the sin. She became a faithful follower of Jesus. Kaya po siguro nakita niya kung gaano ka-faithful ang Panginoong Jesus. Imagine niyo po kung kailang hopeless na siya. Yun yung panahon na dumating ang Panginoon at iniligtas siya. That is why throughout the suffering of Jesus, pagkamatay, pagkalibing, hanggang sa pagkabuhay, nandun siya. We see her name appearing again and again. She was close to Jesus during the last hour of his life. So when Mary Magdalene stood at the foot of the cross, she was looking at the person who has held him completely. She was looking at her Savior, the one who delivered her from the bondage of Satan and sin, and brought her into freedom and a new life. She was looking at the one whom she knew has the power to change lives. Ang Panginoong Jesus na nagkakapagpabago ng buhay natin. Kung tayo po yung nasa paanan ng krus, ano po kaya ang nakikita natin? Nakikita din po kaya natin si Jesus bilang nakakapagpabago ng buhay at daladala ang pag-asa. This is what Jesus did for Mary Magdalene. He redeemed her and brought her out of her miserable condition. But redemption is a costly thing. When Jesus delivered Mary Magdalene, it cost him something. Standing there at the cross, Mary saw the price being paid. Jesus had to die that we might be redeemed and be freed from the bondage of sin and Satan. No wonder she loves him so much. It is no wonder Mary Magdalene was standing there at the cross. It is no wonder that Mary Magdalene was there at his burial. It is no wonder that Mary Magdalene was there at his resurrection. She was the first one to reach the tomb when Jesus was laid. The first to realize that the tomb was empty. She was the one standing outside of the tomb crying, and the first one to see the resurrected Lord, the first one to hear His voice again. Ang ikalawa naman po ay si Mary, the mother of Jesus. Walang maihahambing ang nararamdaman ni Mary habang nakikita niya si Jesus na nakapako sa krus. We can imagine the pain of her heart watching her beloved son dying on the cross. Yet she knew it was all God's will. God has given her this child when she was still a virgin. She was told to give him the name Jesus, for he will save the people from their sin. Mary knew this day would come. She was obedient to the will of God. Standing at the foot of the cross, she knew she was God's favored, and she was watching God's will being fulfilled for the salvation of mankind. Ngunit di po ito madali, sabi nga nila madaling sabihin pero mahirap gawin. Masugatan nga lang po yung anak natin, napakasakit na yun para sa isang ina. Papaano pa po kaya kung makita natin ang anak natin na nakapako at naghihirap sa krus? Una pa lang, marami ng pinagdaanan si Maria. Simula pa lang nung siya ay nagdadalang tao kay Jesus, kahihiyan na kanyang pinagdaanan dahil siya ay nagdadalang tao bago pa siya ikasal. Pag-aalaala na baka iwan siya ni Joseph at takot nung sila ay tumatakas dahil pinapapatay ang lahat ng bagong silang na lalaki. Nung habang lumalaki si Jesus, di din po niya madalas makapiling ito dahil si Jesus ay naglagi sa templo. Nung tumanda naman po ito, si Jesus naman po ay palipat-lipat sa ibang lugar upang magdala ng salita ng Diyos. Ngayon naman, ngayong kasama niya na si Jesus, nakapako naman po sa krus. Di ba po bilang isang ina, ang sakit nun. Sabi nga she was in grief. And Jesus knew that. Alam ng Panginoon yon and had compassion for her and assured her of His love. Ramdam na ramdam ng Panginoong Jesus po yon, yung lungkot na nababalot kay Maria. Jesus remembered her even in His most agonizing moment. He saw His disciple John standing beside her and said, "Dear woman, here is your child," and to John, "Here is your mother." Naramdaman ni Jesus ang hinagpis at pagdadalamhati ni Maria. Jesus felt her sorrow and He knew her loneliness. Jesus comforted her. She was going to lose a son, but from now on, John will be like a son to you. Jesus provides for His mother. He knew her sadness and burdens. Jesus did not neglect her needs even while on the cross. That's the heart of God. Jesus didn't have any possession to give to Mary or to anybody. The soldier has gambled for his clothes. What could he give to Mary? But instead, he gave John, the disciples whom he loved. And from that very hour, John took her into his own house. Minsan sa buhay natin, nakakaramdam tayo na para bang binaksakan na tayo ng mundo. Para bang hindi tayo pinakikinggan ng Panginoon. Para bang tayo ay nag-iisa. But that's not true. This is never true. The Lord cares for you. Your needs are always before Him. Sometimes, when God removes one comfort from us, He raises another for us. Nabasa ko nga po sa isang libro, sabi, Life begins at the end of our comfort zone. Sometimes, we don't even aware of it. Look up to Him. He cares for you and will provide for you. Ang ikatlo naman po ay si Juan, the beloved disciples. Hindi po ba kayo nagtataka na sa dami ng alagad ni Jesus, ay tanging si Juan lang ang nakita sa paanan ng krus ni Jesus? The only one. For John, to be at the cross was to stand at a place of responsibility. Earlier on, at the Garden of Gethsemane, When the soldier came to arrest Jesus, all the disciples fled in fear. Si Peter nga po dinenied pa si Jesus 3 beses. But John returned. Lahat po lang ang alagad naman talaga nagtakbuhan. At isa po doon si John. Kaya lang, si Juan po ay bumalik. He came back to the cross. He knew he had to stand up to what he believes. He must not let Jesus down. Mga kapatid sa pananampalataya, dumarating din po sa atin na medyo naliligaw tayo. We may stray and run from Jesus because of fears, problems in life, hardship. Sabi nga nila, being a Christian is not a bed of roses, but instead a bed of thorns. But don't stay away too long. Come back. It doesn't matter what you've done. You need to come back to Jesus, because at the cross is the place where we can find forgiveness, kapatawaran, deliverance, pagpapalaya, and restoration, pagpapanumbalik sa pagiging buo. Where can we ask? Where can we go? For John to stand at the cross was probably not the safest place to stand. Many of Jesus' followers were hiding, remember? It was not the easiest place to stand. It would have taken courage and love for John to come back to the cross. John not only experienced the forgiveness of sin, he was given a responsibility. Jesus asked John to take care of his mother Mary. John was to be a son to her. He has to do what Jesus can no longer do physically. He was there when Jesus needed him. He was able to serve his master to the end. Tayo po, are we prepared to hear his call today? In a similar way, all of us are given an assignment. You are taking his place here on earth to tell the whole world of God's love and his forgiveness in Jesus. He is no longer physically here. We are his hand and feet to preach the gospel and bring others to him. Sabi nga po sa John 20 verse 21, as my Father has sent me, even so send I you. You and I represent Jesus to others. If we stand by the cross and accept all that Jesus has done for us, then we must also acknowledge the responsibility he has given to us. Like John, we love him, we must love others. John was to take good care of his mother and to love others the same way Jesus loves us. Look up to him, hear his call, and do what he has delegated to us. Let us all be reminded on 2 Corinthians 5:19-20. And he said, committed to us the message of reconciliation. We are therefore Christ's ambassador, as though God were making his appeal through us. Kung nabasa niyo po kanina, the title of my sermon today is Make You Feel My Love. Nung na-invite po ako ni Brother Ryan para makapagbahagi sa inyo ng ikatlong wika, he mentioned na kung maaari ay itugma ko sa aking pumanaw na matalim na kaibigan bilang isang ina. And ever since po noon ay nag-isip na ako kung papaano. Naisip ko po, ano nga ba ang kahulugan ng pag-ibig? Nung nasa seminar po ako ng Love, Courtship, and Marriage, tinanong din yan po sa amin what is love? Napaisip ako, ano nga ba ang kahulugan ng pag-ibig? Mahirap pala siyang i-describe, mahirap siyang bigyan ng kahulugan. One time, habang ako po ay nakikinig sa Spotify, ay nakakaramdam ako ng longing or kalungkutan. Bigla siyang nag-pop up sa list ng songs. Sa isip ko, parang maganda yung lyrics na yun Make you feel my love. Kaya, pinakinggan ko. Nung napakinggan ko siya, Wala na po akong nagawa kundi napaiyak. Dahil sa lyrics na yon. Una, akala ko love song. Pero nung hinimay-himay ko yung lyrics at nag-search ako ng background ng writer, which is by the way a Jewish, na-discover ko na it was not a love song, but a love of a mother to her child. A love of a father to her daughter or son. And love of God to all of us. Walang maihahambing ang pagmamahal ni Jesus kay Maria sa panahon na siya ay namamaalam sa mundo. Inahabilin niya ito sa kanyang alagad tulad ng pagmamahal ng magulang sa atin. Minsan nga, mamamatay ka na lang, naiisip mo pa yung mga anak mong maiiwan. Siguro po ganun talaga ang love. Lahat gagawin mo para sa mahal mo sa buhay. Pero hanggang saan? Hanggang saan mo maipaparamdam ang pagmamahal mo sa kanya o sa kanila? Gusto ko pong tapusin ang aking mensahe sa araw na ito sa iwan ang mga bawat lirika ng kantang Make You Feel My Love na isinulat ni Bob Dylan at iniawit ni Adele. The lyrics goes like this. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the star appears and there's no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you a million years to make you feel my love. I know that you haven't made up your mind, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I would not do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea, and on the highway of regret, the winds of change are flowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing I would not do, call to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. This is the love of God that has given us. Ang pag-ibig ng Diyos sa atin. Sa tuwing tayo ay nakakaramdam ng bagyo sa buhay natin, na katulad ni Mary Magdalene, napakiramdam niya ay binaksakan na siya ng mundo, wala ng pag-asa ang buhay niya, sa tuwing nararamdaman natin ang dilim na bumabalot sa buhay natin, na parabang ang layo ng umaga, o may umaga pa bang darating? Sa tila ba ubos na ang luha natin sa pag-iyak at wala na tayong maisip kundi pagsisihan na lang ang naging buhay natin. Wala na nga bang talagang pag-asa? Wala na nga bang pagmamahal ang Diyos sa atin? Mga kapatid, ito ang kahulugan ng pagkakapako ni Jesus. Ang tunay na pag-ibig ng Diyos sa atin, mas higit pa sa pagmamahal ng magulang sa anak o pagmamahal ng anak sa magulang. Simulat sa pool nang tayo ay pinanganak, tayo ay kanya na. Sa tuwing tayo ay nakakaramdam o dumaranas ng pighati, nariyan ang yakap ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Sa tuwing tayo ay nakakaramdam ng pag-iisa sa buhay, nariyan ang kamay ng Diyos upang tayo ay samahan. Sa panahon na pag-iisa sa buhay, sa panahon na parabang tuyo na ang ating luha sa pagdadalamhati, nariyan siya upang punan ang kalungkutan na bumabalot sa ating Diyos. Gagawin niya lahat upang maramdaman natin ang kanyang pagmamahal. Tulad ng dinanas ni Jesus habang siya ay nakapako sa krus. Kaya niyang tiisin ng gutom, ang pagkauhaw. Dinanas ang sakit ng mga hampas sa kanya habang siya ay naglalakad patungong Golgotha. Kaya niyang dumako hanggang sa dulo ng mundo para lang maiparamdam sa atin na mahal niya tayo. Mga kapatid, walang katulad ang pag-ibig ng Diyos sa atin. Walang makakapantay. Ang pagmamahal na simula sa simula, minahal na niya tayo. Nawa sa ating pag-aalaala sa kanyang pagkakapako sa krus. Nawa manatili sa atin ang kanyang dakilang pag-ibig. Love, where we can find forgiveness. Kapatawaran. Love, where we can find deliverance. Pagpapalaya. And love, where we can restore life. Pagpapanumbalik sa pagiging buo. That's love. That's God's love.
Nothing that I go to the ends of the earth to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Sa pangalan po ng ating Panginoong Hesus.